Hi guys, and welcome along to another video. This is a set I picked up recently. This is a GEC BC561 from 1960. It's a medium wave and long wave set. Not especially rare, but not too common either. There's a couple on eBay at the moment. Both have got buttons missing, so I haven't bought those. I've wanted one of these in good condition in my collection for some time. I actually bought the FM version. Now this is GEC BC562. This is FM only. Again from August 1960 when they were released. This is quite a rarish set. FM had only just started broadcasting around that time, really. And this is one of the earliest British FM only transistor sets. Some people don't think these are very attractive sets because of the styling. I quite like them. We'll have a look at the FM set in a little bit more detail later on. But this one came with an old PP9 battery already fitted, so I have powered it up. The battery was pretty much dead, but it showed the radio and amplifying circuits were actually working. So this one's going to be replacing some of the 56, 57-year-old capacitors and cleaning up. Now when you buy these, obviously there's the button missing issue, and what happens is, because this is like a plastic moulding on the top, it quite often cracks, and there's a crack appeared just here, and there's another one I spotted maybe there, I'm not sure, there, sorry, around the top here. Usually they crack. You take the knobs off, which we'll do in a minute, and this whole case lifts out. There's two screws under these knobs, and that's how you remove the chassis. The case is actually a plywood moulding. It's completely moulded and joined at one end here, so bent round, steam bent. And then you've got this sort of Rexine oatmeal covering here. There is a word for that. Is it Vinair or Vinar or something? I don't know. And you've got this Rexine here. Finish off with these gold end caps for the handle, and this should be chrome originally, but it's faded away. And you've got this same fill on the handle there, and the back's exactly the same, but just minus the badge. And there's a vent there for the air to move in and out the speaker, and the same here. Now this one, you've got to be careful, because these do rip, and this one is actually ripped here. So what I'm going to have to do is get some real fine fishing line and some super glue, I think, and I might sew that back together. You know, just use the fishing line to pull it back, into one bit, because there's nothing to glue on here. I think someone's just given it a prod, but you can't really notice it. But if you pull it apart slightly, you can. And I want that to be perfect. And that was the only real cosmetic fault with this. But there's the bottom of it. The battery goes in here, PP9. One of these big ones goes in there. Oh, you can see down, but this white thing here is actually a real bit of net curtain wire. That is genuinely what it is. And they've just used that to stop the battery disappearing down there. And you've got this wooden, this is a wooden bottom. And you've got this door just to have access to the battery. So what we're going to do is we'll pull the knobs off, and we'll get the chassis out. And I've already had these knobs off actually, so just to make sure they did come off, and they're quite easy to get off. This is, you know, when people use a screwdriver as a lever and lever them off, this top cracks. Removing the knobs has revealed the two screws to get the chassis out, and I've not had this apart at all yet. So this is as new for you as it is for me. Nice bit of dust there, which is good to see. No one's been in there. And it does work. I've put a new battery in. It does work, except the pots are a bit scratchy, and it needs the capacitor changing. So there's the inside. I'll put my glasses on and I might be able to point out some things. Right, it's got a, as you can see, it's got a dual scale, so the pointer moves up and down both sides equally, so you can view it from either side. Long wave, medium wave, off, on button, and you've got speech and fidelity, and you can either have those completely off, have the speech on, or the fidelity on, or you have them both on, and that's just like a push button form of tone control. It's got some nice old grease there. Actually, someone has been in this. That's a replacement pot there. That's got a plastic shaft on. I don't think that's original. No, it isn't. So someone has been in here ages ago. But as you can tell by the dust, it was a very long time ago. Might have been 70s or 80s or something. So what I'm going to do now is take the chassis out. Yeah, these screws are loose. Someone's definitely been in here. Well, this one was anyway. Yeah. And this has those red and black with the yellow label plastic capacitors inside. Right, there's the chassis. And you can see it's the old PCB. Yeah, that's a newish pot. Someone's replaced that. Oh, let's get those battery terminals out so they don't go through the speaker, and these wires are going off to the speaker. So no one's been in here and changed the components. It's these that I would like to change. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 capacitors to change, which is exactly the same job as I did on that on the FM set. And you can see this is a very early-ish transistor set. It's still got some wax capacitors in there. But, yeah, and these very early GEC transistors. Get 873, Get 8, or GET, sorry. So 867 or something. So very early, and it's got some beautiful Hunt capacitors, which, you know, in transistor sets, unlike valve sets where they're affected by heat, they don't usually go off. You know, because there's no heat in here really. So that's what we'll do next. We'll get the soldering iron warmed up, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to restuff these capacitors with new ones. So keep the look, and I'll just put a note inside. But it's interesting to see here. There's a date on here of 21st of April 19 something or other. Hopefully it might be repeated somewhere down the. Oh, here we go. There's another date. It's got 21 of April, and then something else. Does that say 1960? I'm not sure. And something, there's a manufacturer's label, probably just for the plywood, which is Wood, some Engineering Limited, and number 6. I didn't see that on my other set. Oops, sorry. And you can see these big wooden blocks here. Probably ones down the bottom as well, just holding the set together. Not really much to point out. It's got a car aerial socket on the side here, and just needs a clean up. It's got a, I think, either a 4 or a 6-inch speaker. So quite simple, but guess would have been pretty expensive back in the day. And those contacts, the switching contacts, need cleaning, which I knew already because they're a bit crackly and poppy. And it just needs a good dusting, I think, as well. And the writing on the label, that's actually engraved, so you can backfill it with or infill it with paint. Except I can see the medium wave knob at the end there, sorry, switch at the end, where it's lost its writing, has also lost the engraving as well, where people have changed or put their finger on it and worn it out. So what I might do, I've got a thing called a pyrograph, which is almost like a soldering iron, very low temperature soldering iron, that you use to emboss plastic, and I might fire that up and try and re-engrave medium wave on there and then fill it in with paint. But yeah, that's definitely a new pot on there, newish pot on there. .47K log. I have to see if that's original. I've got the service data, but yeah, right. Put this down, switch the camera off, and I'll get the soldering iron fired up. Actually, before we start soldering and replacing components, I want to show you the size of that speaker in there. That's a good 6-inch speaker in there, so it should give a nice sound. And there's another plexi capacitor across the speaker terminals. And I was going to replace the speaker actually, or take the speaker out. It's just held on by a wing nut at either side, and then one bolt there. But I think it's fairly safe in there. I'm not likely to stick my finger in it, so I'm just going to desolder these two connections here. While we've got it out, here's the top. See, fairly dusty. I think that volume control pot was replaced quite some years ago, and there's the crack in it, which is annoying but not really noticeable. And I imagine it's been dropped there, but nothing's broken away, and it's not cracked through to the edge either. So that should come up quite nicely. That's always one thing to watch out for, as I mentioned. These, if you screw the little screws down too tight, you get a crack appearing right away across, which in some ways spoils the cosmetic appearance. And this is quite early plastic. You can just see there, look, it's starting to go there. Oh yeah, and it's broken through on that side, but it's covered by the knobs. So just be very careful if you get one of these and are tightening those little screws. They don't need a lot of tightening down, just gentle pressure. And the other thing I noticed is this knob is rather black on top, and I'm hoping that knob's not coated and that's just years of dirt. I've just given it a little scratch and nothing's coming off really, so you can see the brown underneath, but it looks like it's a solid brown knob. I just hope it's not had some sort of coating on top of it, but I don't see why they would have done. But that black's got to come off. And there's the other knob. See? Oh, that's it. Let's get that soldering iron fired up.